Hi, I'm Victor Adair, and I'm here on behalf of HowStreet.com. We're in Vancouver. It's the second week of June, and I'm with my good longtime friend, Michael Levy. Michael, good to see you again.
Nice to see you, Victor.
What's going on? What do you like out there in the markets?
Well, I like the fact that I've done a lot of going to cash in the past three weeks. I didn't like these markets. I was too early once again. We were looking at a turn 1st of May, and it didn't happen. Canadian dollar overextended. I thought the stock market's overextended. Certainly the US dollar to the downside, and gold went higher than what I thought. But I think we might be on the precipice now of the move we thought was going to take place almost 3 to 4 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. I think you and I are singing a little bit from the same song sheet there, and I like to hear you say that something went a little further than you thought. Certainly the Canadian dollar. I mean, wow, what a move.
Absolutely. I mean, up to 92.5 cents. Victor, you know, I would never have called it, but I think a lot of it was weakness in the US dollar. But when you take a look at the US dollar versus the Aussie, the New Zealand dollar, the euro, the Canadian dollar basically outperformed a little bit, even outperformed them in the last few days, and seemed to have a bit of a mind of its own. So for the Canadian dollar, I think it was both a US dollar currency play and the fact that, like it or not, we've become a bit of a petrocurrency, and as oil went up, the Canadian dollar followed that also. So Canadian dollar did confound a little as far as I'm concerned.
Michael Levy, of course, Border Gold, www.bordergold.com is your website. You're like on the international speaking tour or circuit these days. What's that all about?
Well, just there's a little more question about what's going on in the market. Indecision, people are wondering what's happening, and we've been able to explain in pretty plain English at least what's happening, why we are where we're going, or where we are, and possibly where we're going, and where we used to get requests to speak 8 or 9 times a year. That's absolutely doubled. There's this confounded, I don't know where we are and why, and so there's, you know, information is in a bull market. Let's put it that way. Real information, a bull market. People want to know what's going on, and I think that having the ability to tell them that in plain English certainly helps with the demand.
I said at the top here that Michael's been a longtime friend of mine, and I mean that. We're going back 30 years or so. When I think of you, mostly, of course, I'm thinking of gold. You've been dealing in, trafficking in physical gold for years and years, gold coins and all that. What's the news? What's the gossip in the gold market now that you're interested in?
Well, you know, I was interested to see gold make the new high in US dollars, yet flatten out in terms of the other currencies. Now, as the US dollar got weaker and gold got a bit stronger, the US dollar outstripped the currencies, and gold actually, in terms of the Canadian dollar, the Aussie again, the New Zealand, the euro, actually came down in value. But I've noticed that this last part of the bull market in gold, in other words, this last segment up, you had the gold in these other currencies, including the Canadian dollar, steadying and maybe even coming up a little higher going into this correction. So what I'm looking at now for gold is a correction. There is no doubt about that in my mind. When I say there's no doubt about that's what I'm looking for, doesn't mean there's no doubt about that's what's going to happen. But I think we're going to see a correction. I could see 930. I could see 905. I'm talking US. What I do think, which I think will interest the viewer, is I think that when gold starts to come back again, it's going to once again do what it did earlier in the year, and late last year, and go up against all currencies. I think we're going to see that stronger US dollar, and we're going to see gold going up against that US dollar, and if the US dollar is stronger, all the other currencies are weaker, which means gold is going to go up even more against the other currencies. And that, to me, is a true bull market in gold, is when it goes up against all currencies in tandem, and I really believe now that we're on the precipice of that happening.
Michael Levy, bordergold.com. Michael, you and I talk regularly. I know you're more courageous than me. You were buying stocks like in the springtime here this year when, you know, they looked like they were down there making some awful lows. You're taking some profits on some of those stocks?
I took money off the table, and I really started to question myself, because I started about 2.5 or 3 weeks ago when I thought, well, the 7th of May, it's even more, it's a month ago now. Yeah. I started very slowly taking money off the table, and then in the last 2 weeks, I've really accelerated that. And I was watching this market go up as I'm selling into this move up. But, you know, I got to tell you, Victor, is that it's never a mistake to take some money. I mean, what you don't want to do is be the guy that saw it go up and then saw it come all the way back down again and said, gee, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. And I just wanted to put some money in my pocket. I thought there's going to be another opportunity to buy into the equity market. And guess what? If I'm wrong, I can always re-enter. But I have taken some profits.
Taking some profits, are you in cash or you're putting that cash to work someplace else?
Right now, I'm going to cash. In that part of my portfolio that I have sold, I have bought nothing. I am just sitting in probably right now, I would guess 20% to 25% more cash than what I had a month ago. So I really want to take a look. I want the markets to tell me where they're going, whether it's precious metals, currencies, and in this case, equities. I don't want to stand in front of a freight train, but nor do I want to be there, you know, sort of as it goes by. I just want to take a step back, and I want to let the markets tell me whether they're going to go up again or whether we're going to be in for a fairly deep correction. My guess is we're going to have a pretty significant correction, Victor.
Michael's made some money. He's gone safely to the sidelines, and now he's going to go do a speech.
Thanks, Victor.
Okay, this is Michael Levy, Victor Adair for, bordergold.com, and we're doing this tape for HowStreet.com. Thank you very much for watching.
Comments made on How Street Video and HowStreet.com are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at HowStreet.com. How Street Video is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.